Ooh, so no news for Squadron at this year's Game Awards. What a shocker. This, alongside previous statements made by CIG this year.
I don't know if we're going to make it. I just know that we're going to do every single thing possible to make it.
And the lackluster quarterly reports confirms to myself that the likelihood we see Squadron 42 next year is very low indeed.
When we have the locked release date, you'll be the first to know.
If they are to start traditional advertising, they better start soon. Not the tiniest teaser, not the tiniest morsel of a trailer at CitizenCon. Woe is me. Every day he teases me just a little bit more. In any case, the hope and the cope continue as I have nothing better to do anyway. This little work will strive towards facing the music, grabbing the bull by the horns and staring at what we already know. The Squadron 42 nod.
Grab a soda, it'll help you see faster.
To properly start this video, we must first ask ourselves, what is Squadron 42 and Star Citizen? Squadron 42 is the upcoming single-player and story campaign for the alleged MMO Star Citizen. This means that both of these games are to be set within the same universe, share technology, assets, and grow alongside of each other. In essence, the intention by CIG appears to be that Squadron 42 will serve as the introduction and springboard into the Star Citizen universe to lure in new players to then purchase Star Citizen. As you have likely heard, Squadron 42 is to be an epic space adventure starring many famous faces from the film and gaming industry, like Gary Oldman, Mark Hamill, John Rhys-Davies, Gillian Anderson, Danny Houston, your mother. You can play one game without playing the other, but having played and finished Squadron 42 before starting Star Citizen is supposed to give your character in Star Citizen some added bonuses, like becoming a citizen of the UEE, veteran status, and probably some sort of other in-game rewards, like money. So the games do actually have an effect on each other, particularly the overarching story of Squadron and the war against the Vanduul. This war I believe to be likely to continue to affect Star Citizen and the story which takes place therein to further expand the universe. Oh, we'll get to you one day, baby.
Stop fucking with the microwave!
It is no secret, if not perhaps a little obfuscated, that most of the money raised towards Star Citizen has actually gone into funding and developing Squadron 42. Obviously, tech has still been and is constantly being made for Star Citizen, but the main focus is still with the single-player campaign. In spite of great and sometimes terrible communication, most of the publicly available information is on Star Citizen.
What is the development team saying? No release in sight, sir, but it's been in development for 10 years.
Not great, not terrible.
But we know scant little about the goings-on with Squadron 42. The face of these dual projects has always been Star Citizen, yet the main development focus, like I said, lies with Squadron. Via the constant and seemingly never-ending funding for Star Citizen, there is no incentive for CIG to honor any promise to release, because we keep giving them our money. Full disclosure, however, I'm not better than anyone else. I did buy the CitizenCon goodies pack, and I am a concierge. But since this here date, I haven't spent a single cent more. That'll show them, the bastards. There is no fault on spending money on things that you enjoy, but this lack of financial discipline on our part is not good. Hence why I pledge today that I will not spend a single cent more on Star Citizen until Squadron 42. The double-edged sword of Squadron's development has always been that there is no publisher. There is no force or higher power to hold CIG or Chris Roberts accountable. This at the same time is also great because it allows them to do things which have never been done before in gaming.
Oh my god, boys, it's finally the game! Yes!
Like the seamless transitions, the near extinction of loading screens, object container streaming, persistent entity streaming, ship interiors, server meshing, grass, and even rocks. CIG is a company of innovation funded by the unwashed masses of myself and you. They have many things to be proud of, but at some point they have to deliver. Now, Chris Roberts has been cooking in the kitchen for so long that even though he has promised the perfect meal, a lot of the guests have left and those that haven't are starved and dead. Time limits and deadlines are a good way to ensure delivery and that the work is constant. Getting promises for over a decade now that something is going to be delivered eventually is not really good for project morale. But who am I kidding? They raised $150 million this year. But they have been working constantly, you say. Which is true, but did you know that they have basically made Squadron 42 3-ish times? I call these the 2012 to 2014 and 2015 to 2017 and 2019 to 2025. I'd like to think that the current version is a continuation of 2019's, or maybe even 2017's. On several occasions, we were struck with that if we just get this tech, it'll speed us along and everything will be honky-dory. Squadron 42 news were quite persistent up until about 2019, and no, the shite monthly reports I will finally declare do not count. I've personally read a lot of these, and I will tell you, trying to discern what stage of development they're at has been the most difficult task indeed. I mean solid, show-don't-tell news like the 2017 vertical slice, 2018 trailer, 2019 teaser, or the 2023's I Held the Line, or the 2024 prologue. That's what I mean. Actual, tangible progress and proof, not just some text on a report. Most companies would not be able to survive this, but we, through crowdfunding them, have been able to ensure the longevity of this company, but not ourselves. It is something to come to terms with, but it is always, however, frustrating that they cannot be held accountable for anything unless we as players put our foot down, which we clearly are not doing anytime soon. I have answered the call, I have held the line, but now we're simply disconnected until an operator decides to call us back.
Hey, who killed him? Who killed this? Who killed this?
I have never really understood the worry behind GTA 6 and Squadron 42 releasing. Now do not get me wrong, I understand the implications of releasing any game too close to the industry juggernaut that is GTA 6. But do please hear me out. I also understand how important it is for Chris Roberts to feel vindicated.
Vindication!
After all these years of delays, smearing and hate thrown at him and his company. But simply put, GTA 6 will smash anything even close to it to bits no matter what, probably for a while after its release even. But it's a console game and Squadron is supposed to be a PC game only, right? Right? So theoretically, you have a whale and an elephant, or perhaps more accurately, a whale and a pigeon fighting for the attention of the game's media. Obviously, one of them is clearly going to win, GTA 6, which is probably going to sweep up all the attention and awards and accolades, much to the annoyance of every other games developer on Earth. But the way in which Squadron 42 will spread is not through the whims of antiquated games journalism, but by convincing ordinary players to pick up the game. Word of mouth, in my mind, will be the only truly viable way to spread Squadron, due to the fact that the game is so unknown, and for most players who haven't tried it, Star Citizen and its sister project Squadron rhymes with scam. Another reason why I don't understand the fear of GTA 6 is simply that there isn't much overlap between Squadron and GTA in the first place. It'd be more the case that Star Citizen and Squadron players are also likely to purchase and play GTA, whereas GTA players are unlikely to play a space sim MMO, or its campaign. There is not a lot of genre overlap, and space sim enthusiasts will of course find themselves playing Squadron if the game is good anyway. But the biggest reason why I do not see Squadron 42 affected by GTA too much is that upon release, GTA 6 will likely do as they did with 5. Wait a year to release it on PC. Squadron 42 is allegedly a PC-only game, meaning that for those that prefer PC, Squadron is seemingly safe. The far greater threat to any release of Squadron 42 as I see it has nothing to do with GTA 6. That is a red herring. It doesn't matter, because GTA 6 and Star Citizen are supposed to live on way past their release dates. The biggest threat to Squadron is Star Citizen 1.0.
So the question is, what is that? And that is what we call Star Citizen 1.0. It's something that we've been talking and looking and designing and thinking a lot about over the past X number of years. And now we thought, you know what we should do, because I think half our sort of initial stuff is from a long time ago that you've seen, and then occasionally we'll talk about things we're doing in, inside Star Citizens or SC Lives. But we're like, okay, let's tell everyone the marker. This is what it is, Star Citizen 1.0. When we hit this, this is what we consider we're ready to go wide. Everybody in the world can get in, play it, whether you're hardcore or casual, have fun, play in the verse, interact, have a great time. And so that is what we're going to tell you today, is what we consider Star Citizen 1.0. That doesn't mean, as I said, that we'll stop at that point. We'll continue to grow and build and add things. So fishing is not on Star Citizen 1.0's list, but I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure it will be not that long after 1.0.
Squadron 42 is the gateway drug to Star Citizen. It is the perfect vessel for those upon having finished Squadron who'd like to know more.
Would you like to know more?
And the absolutely worst thing for Star Citizen and Squadron would be to release Squadron 42 when Star Citizen is not ready to be adopted by the masses.
You guys out here who are beautiful, wonderful, early adopters, willing to put up with bugs, jankiness, not a great new player experience. We know all those things are things that we want to fix and improve. And we want a game that everyone can just get into at the beginning, understand it, have fun, pulls you into it, and then has a huge amount of depth.
A poor Squadron 42 reception would be a terrible blow for CIG, but a good or great Squadron reception with a buggy Star Citizen as a follow-up would be even worse, and could worsen new players' already reserved opinions on the project. Personally, what I'd think would be the smartest choice for CIG would be to release Squadron 42 for the low and mad price of $40. Because the real money for CIG lies not in Squadron, but in Star Citizen, which is proven year after year after year. Putting the game up for 40 buckaroos would make it an easy expense for the Treasury to take, and would seem less daunting than a $60 to $70 game. It would soften the fears of a scam and critically help drive more players to Star Citizen where they can continue to enjoy the shared universe. But this won't really happen if Star Citizen is a mess.
Gordon, you lousy motherfucker. Get your dork ass down to the test chamber or else I will shove the sample up your ass.
Fantastic. Squadron 42 is now in our hands and we played it. Most of us probably ended up enjoying the experience and eagerly hopped back on Star Citizen to share our experiences with friends. But what happens now? 2025 was the year of stability for Star Citizen, and I'd like to say that yes, the game plays and feels better than it ever has. So I would like to chalk this up as a rare CIG win. They set a goal and they did it. So for their and our sake, I hope that they continue on this track and continue to set strict goals and deliver upon them.
The worst is over. It's all downhill from here.
I am not by any means suggesting that the game is perfect. There are plenty of issues. But from where we started, we must acknowledge that this year could maybe be the start of a shift at CIG. But there is trouble upon the horizon. Isn't there always trouble on the horizon? Cloud Imperium's main focus will likely be to continue on the track of stability to prepare itself for the tidal wave of new players that may or may not pour in depending on the response for and towards the first installment of Squadron 42. Oh yes, it is only supposed to be a first installment. In previous years, it has been stated that the intention for Squadron 42 is for the game to be that of an epic space adventure trilogy, which I have covered in this previous video where I speculate on the story of Squadron 42 and its trajectory. I do not believe for a second that upon a successful launch of Squadron 42 that these resources will be moved on to Star Citizen to further develop towards 1.0. So those poor Star Citizen devs are going to have to make do. This because, as far as I'm aware, the majority of the developers at CIG are only working on Squadron. Upon a successful or average delivery of Squadron, I believe that what is likeliest is the immediate development of Squadron 43 and 44. Haha! As at that point they hopefully, oh dear God, hopefully, have all the tech they need to swiftly move on to the next episode. Much like another game series famous for never reaching that most coveted third installment. This is the Squadron 42 knot in a nutshell. What happens to Star Citizen upon the completion of Episode 1 of Squadron? How does CIG act? How will the community react? and what will the future of the project look like? Ultimately, the sooner all of the Squadron games are finished, the better it is for Star Citizen. But we are likely to see, as with any other major games project, DLCs and add-ons being added which will again hog more resources. Most likely, I believe that they will continue steady work to reach the goals set for 1.0, which to my surprise, after rewatching the panel, seems like a solid plan. I just hope it's doable in a reasonable time frame.
Let's just say your hour has come again.
As has been proven by people smarter than me, time is relative. Yet being alive is a short window which we all find ourselves conscious of, and with the ability for our brain to perceive things that we enjoy. Star Citizen is a live service game, so there is no clearly defined end for the further development and innovation of the game, hence why I'm not worried about its future. The only thing that can stop Star Citizen is the inevitable passing of its creator, Chris Roberts. Albeit I think it would only increase the fan bases further to honor his legacy, or if the money runs dry, which like I keep saying, doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon. Like I mentioned earlier, however, time is a critical piece. If Squadron is released too soon and Star Citizen is not ready, it could lead to a disaster, where we might have to wait until Squadron 43 to have a wider interest in Star Citizen again. So another Squadron delay is what I find to be the most likely, not because Squadron isn't finished, but to buy time for Star Citizen to become more stable and perhaps allow a higher player count. Even though it deeply offends and hurts my sensibilities, I find that this is the only acceptable reason for yet another motherfucking Squadron 42 delay. To put Star Citizen in the best possible position to help ensure the future of CIG's projects, so that our dearly earned money does not ultimately go to waste. As I was writing this video, a new little sneak peek was released for Squadron 42, namely the Vandal Identification Cheat Sheet. Proudly at the bottom, it still states that the game will launch in 2026. And I just don't know. This could mean many different things, this being the last thing we see of Squadron 42 in 2025. It either exudes confidence or we don't know what to put out there energy. I really do want to believe them though that it's launching in 2026, but after over a decade of delays, I'm not willing to trust them. Even though this could easily be proof that they are confident of a 2026 launch, still, and with the risk of sounding stupid or being wrong, I still wish for my opinion to be out there, which is why I elected to continue to work on this video and release it. Every year you can just say, oh, it's going to be 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029. Eventually, you will be correct.
I read about it on Wikipedia, the free online encyclopedia that anyone can edit.
Public relations is the worst enemy for CIG. It cannot be stressed enough how badly they need to win back the hearts and minds of the wider gaming audience. As I see it, this, for lack of a better word, comeback would have to far surpass anything that No Man's Sky managed to pull off. And the best way for CIG to do this is to stop their quite predatory money-raising plots and schemes, lower prices and offer more free shit, just like No Man's Sky did. In essence, the company needs to humble itself before the masses and realize they haven't earned the reputation of an innovative company yet. Though nothing would make me happier than to see CIG enjoy the same reputation and trust as Valve. Because do remember, Valve hasn't always made the right calls, nor has CIG, but I firmly believe there is a chance for redemption here. And I really do hope that they pull it off with the release of Squadron 42.
But wait! There's more! Hang on to your seat, baby! Cause this one's a screamer!
I'd like to take this moment and thank you all from the bottom of my heart for the end of a good year and the start of something great. I am fortunate to have cultivated such a strong, fun, and competent fan base, and I could not be prouder of this accomplishment. I would like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas indeed, and a Happy New Year. There will probably be no more videos for the rest of the year unless I think of a short or two. More videos are of course to come, but before that I just wanted to leave you all with a little something. The Herring Star Citizen Christmas Collection Extravaganza, with such classics as All I Want for Luminalia, Jingle Bell Pledge, at Last Citizen Con.
I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. Don't care about the presents underneath the Luminalia tree. I don't need to hang myself there upon the fireplace. Santa Claus, fucking Chris Roberts won't make me happy with a toy on Luminalia Day. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas is Squadron 42.
Jingle bell, pledge in the store. It's the first time for you, so here's what you do. Use Herring's referral, show him you care. Playing this game will make you rip out your hair. Soon you'll be screaming, buy it right now, it's got fidelity. Although I really think that you're poor, you'll have to pledge some more. Do it right now, please don't fight now, Chris Roberts needs another yacht.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Last Citizen Con, there was no squadron, but the very next day, okay, you pledged anyway. And this year, to save you from tears, I promise we'll release Squadron.
A very special thank you to all my wonderful Banu merchantmen, without whose support all of this would be impossible. A heartfelt thanks to Michael, Half-Breed Bastard, Big Crunk, Mouseclick, and Davidri. A succulent thank you to the wonderful, fantastic people of Magic, Schmieda, Iphaniora, Sogi XD, Albatross, and Ignore Me. And a most scrumptious thank you to my wonderful enthusiasts of Feral Goblin Gal, Long Yawn, Bloodix, Festetsu, Monk, and Dave of Yogs.
Is it too late to ask for a bit of a humble subscribe? It took a long time to make this video. I'd appreciate some love. Thank you very much and Merry Christmas. Bye.